Today is Saturday, March 1st, Sunday, March 1st. And like every session, it's going to be a powerful session. This is a message I've been trying to get out for at least a month now. And I kept pushing it back, because I knew that it was a very intricate message. A message that unless you really experience this, you might not even fully understand the effect of it. But I knew I had to get the message out. Today, we are here, and I'm happy we're here. I always say that, and I mean that at the bottom of my heart when I say, I'm happy that I'm here, because there is a million things that can happen, million things that can stand in your way, that can occur, that could prevent you from being right here, right now. And we have to always be thankful for being able to be present, because like I said, there's a million things that can stand in your way. But without further ado, let's get right into it, because this is very important and it's going to take a minute. So, welcome back to the Hour of Power with D.E. Wilder. I am D.E. Wilder, and I am here, happy and delighted that I can share this message. We are living life with power, passion, personal growth, and most of all, with purpose. Let's give thanks to all things, especially the small things, and the beauty of life surrounding us. Let's make an effort to enjoy the constant beauty and quiet miracles which make life so uniquely precious. All in all, let's just take a moment and give thanks. Let's be thankful. So today is a special session. It's a sort of a lecture, because I broke down layers of this message so I can bring it home and it can really be impactful for those who have experienced this. Because we've been discussing something that we're going to discuss, something that I've been plagued with and blessed with for most of my life. And it's personal to me, and I don't take it for granted. And today's session is breaking brick walls. How do we carry on when we hit the wall of obstruction in our lives? This is going to be a powerful one, people. Hold on for a minute. So welcome, family, friends, and fraternal souls. There comes a moment in every life, not announced, not scheduled, not invited, when forward motion suddenly stops. Not because you quit, not because you failed, but because you ran into something solid. A wall, a brick wall to be exact. And what makes it so difficult is from a distance, you didn't even see it coming. You had momentum, you had plans, you had faith. You were moving, and then sudden impact. Today we are talking about something, about breaking brick walls. Not with your fist, not with brute force, but with awareness, endurance, and inner recalibration. Because the truth is, brick walls don't always show up to stop us. Sometimes they show up to shape us. And the real question is not, why did this happen to me? The real question is, how do I carry on without losing myself when I hit that brick wall? Let's get started. Understanding what brick walls really are. The name, well, to be honest, brick walls can look like something different to different people. Everyone has their own brick walls. You know, brick walls can look like rejection you didn't expect, financial setbacks, a health scare, career stagnation, a relationship breakdown, emotional exhaustion, doors that refuse to open no matter how hard you knock or kick. And here's the part that most people miss. Brick walls aren't always external. Sometimes the walls are fear pretending to be logic. Doubt disguised as realism, and old wounds resurfacing as hesitation. A past failure whispering, don't you dare try again. Brick walls can be circumstantial or internal. And until we identify which wall we are standing in front of, we will keep pushing in the wrong direction. Because not every wall is meant to be broken. Some are meant to be climbed over. Some are meant to be walked around. And some are meant to teach us that it's time to build a new door, a brand new entryway for ourselves and for our future. So what are the emotional tolls of obstruction? Let's talk about what no one likes to admit. Hitting a wall doesn't just stop progress. It messes with your identity and self-worth perception. You start asking yourself things like, am I still capable? Did I misread my calling? Was I wrong about myself? Am I wasting my own time? And if you're not careful, trust me, you'll begin to personalize that obstruction. You'll stop saying, I hit a brick wall. And you'll start saying, I am the wall. But hear me clearly. Obstruction is not a verdict on your worth. Delay is not denial of your purpose. Resistance is not rejection of your destiny. Sometimes walls exist to slow you down. Slow you down before burnout. Redirect before disaster. I believe that wholeheartedly. And that's why you got to trust your intuition and pay attention to the cues around you. Sometimes those walls can protect you, strengthen you before expansion. People don't know sometimes before you're ready to grow and explode, things get harder and things get tougher. Things start getting in your way because you're ready to break out. You're ready to go to the next level. Sometimes it matures you before elevation. Growth often arrives wrapped and bound in obstacles and frustration. That's the way it works sometimes. So what do we do wrong when we hit the wall? Most of us respond to a wall in one of three unhealthy ways. Let's put it that way. One, we exhaust ourselves. A lot of times when someone hit walls and resistance, they even push even harder. So you push harder without reassessing this wall, this resistance. Why? You put the same effort, same approach, same pain, and end up with the same result. We confuse punishment with persistence. Number two, we quit too soon. You have no idea how many people was right at the cusp of a breakthrough and they quit. Not because we lack ability, but because discouragement convinces us that the wall is permanent and here to stay. Number three, we numb out. We distract. We disengage. We pretend it doesn't hurt. But numbing doesn't move walls. It just delays healing. So what if instead of reacting to the wall, we stopped and paused for a moment, took a moment to reassess what's in front of us? What if the wall was asking us a vital question? A question like, what should I do now? Should I learn a new skill? Should I ask for help if I need it? Should I release my ego and embrace humility? Should I redefine success? Should I trust timing instead of forcing my will? Walls demand adjustment, not abandonment. So, how to carry on without breaking yourself as you're trying to break through? So let's get real practical and grounded for just a moment. Because we have to stop fighting these walls emotionally, which so many people do. They let their emotions lead them, oftentimes lead to the wrong decisions, sometimes the worst decisions. Stop fighting the wall emotionally, because anger drains clarity. Bitterness clouds vision. You don't need to love the wall, of course, but you need to see the wall for what it is clearly. Stop and ask yourself a question. Not why me, but instead, what is this asking me to strengthen within myself? What is this protecting me from? What am I being prepared for? Those are powerful questions. Because you have to redefine your progress in life. And sometimes you get stumped. You get stopped. You stumble. Progress isn't always forward motion or constant forward motion. Sometimes progress is resting without feeling guilty, learning without performing, healing without having a need to explain to anyone, rebuilding with grace without rushing. Oftentimes, these things are about yourself, about your inner peace, And sometimes it takes time. So keep your inner voice alive. In previous sessions, I had a whole session on inner voice and paying attention to the inner voice and paying attention to your intuition and so on and so forth, because your spirit knows. Your spirit will guide you, and you have to pay attention. Why? Because walls are loud and noisy. Doubt shouts out loud. Fear echoes, can surround you constantly. But your inner voice still whispers truth to you if you pay attention. If you are quiet enough to listen to that voice, you can hear what it's trying to say. Continue by staying connected to who you are, even when the path disappears and is no longer clear. You can no longer see the path forward. What are the hidden gifts behind the wall? There's always a positive you can take from any situation. So here's the paradox. The wall you resent today may be the foundation of life that you respect tomorrow. Why? Because brick walls teaches discernment. It reveals resilience. It strips illusion and strengthens character. And ultimately, it can refine your purpose. When you eventually move past that obstacle, past that wall, and you will, promise me, you will, I promise you, you won't be the same person who first hit that wall. You'll be steadier, clearer, less reactive, more grounded. Walls don't just test strength, they test patience and faith and self-trust. And the people who make it through aren't always the strongest. It's not necessarily about strength. They are the ones who refuse to let obstacles define them. If you are standing in front of a wall right now, take a breath. Remember, the wall can mean many things for different people. And at some point or another, everyone has a wall standing in front of them. Take a breath, because you're not behind. You're not broken. And certainly, you're not finished. This moment, is not the end of your story. It's only a chapter in your story, and the chapter of refinement. It's where you're going to evolve into you're going to grow. So keep going and carry on. And carry on by being gentle and having grace with yourself. Staying curious instead of critical. Trusting that your natural movement and your natural abilities will return. And remember that walls don't erase your calling. Sometimes the walls just doesn't fall. Sometimes you must just rise above the wall. You must be greater than the wall. And you can do that. You'll realize that the wall was never there just to stop you, but it was there to show you just how strong, adaptable, and worthy you already are. Let's go on to part 2. What happens after the wall doesn't move? But you do, because you got to remember, in the situation, you're growing and you're evolving. after the initial impact of a wall, there's something no one prepares you for. It's not the moment you hit the wall. It's the moment after the wall, after the frustration, after the anger, after the silence settle in. This is the moment where life quietly asks you a question. Who are you going to be now? What are you now? What are you going to do now? Not who were you before you hit the wall. Not who do you imagine you would be after you were successful and after everything worked out the way it was supposed to. But who are you standing here, right now, with unanswered questions and altered expectations in a heart that has been tested? In part one, we talked about hitting the wall. Now we're going to talk about what happens next. Because carrying on isn't about pretending nothing happened, pretending the wall didn't exist. It's about becoming someone new without losing your soul or the essence of who you really are. This requires an identity shift. The identity shift that follows obstructions. Because walls change you. They change how you see yourself, how you trust timing, how you measure effort, how you define success. After a wall, many people say things like, I'm not as confident as I used to be. Now I second guesses everything when I probably shouldn't. I don't move the same way as I used to. And that's not necessarily weakness. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because now you're forming a reevaluation. That's simply awareness within you being born. The version of you that charged forward without resistance had momentum. The version of you standing now has discernment. And you didn't lose anything. You didn't lose your strength. But now you gain depth. Because walls forces us to shift. And we're going to shift from speed to sustainability. We're going to shift from our ego to intentions, and proving to aligning, and chasing to choosing. This is not regression. This is, in fact, evolution. This is how we evolve. This is how we grow. But we can be left, because we're only human, we could be left grieving the old version of life that we once expected. If you understand what I'm talking about, and if you live long enough, you will understand that I am talking about a pivotal point in someone's life where they realize that the things that they were going to do or wanted to do, or the manner in which they wanted to do it, did not happen. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means it's not going to happen in a manner in which you expect it. And oftentimes, too many people hold on to the way they want it to be. And you got to let that go. Because this part is rarely discussed, but it's deeply necessary. Sometimes what hurts the most isn't the wall itself. It's the life that you thought you'll be living by now. The timeline, the outcome, the version of yourself that you think should have arrived by now. And grief doesn't always come from loss. Sometimes it comes from delay and expectations. So you have to, part of having grace for yourself is allow yourself to grieve. It's okay. Grieving is actually an essential part of our well-being. Let it go. Grieve the plans that didn't work out. Grieve the doors that stayed closed. Grieve the seasons that lasted longer than expected. Because after grieving and letting it go and allowing yourself to do that, it doesn't mean that you're giving up. It means that you're honoring what you hoped for, what you believed, what you desired, what you dreamed of, without letting it hold you captive or imprisoning you. Unprocessed grief turns into anger and bitterness. Acknowledging the grief turns into wisdom. And now it turns into something powerful. So carry on by allowing yourself to say things like, this isn't what I expected. But as I started by saying, I'm still here and I'm thankful. That sentence alone is the personification of strength. Recognize you may not be where you want to be, but you're here. It's powerful. Learning to move without certainty. After a wall, certainty disappears. And that, for some people, can be very terrifying. Why? Because you realize you don't have all the answers. You can't see the full path laid ahead of you. You don't know how this will resolve. But here's the shift. You don't need certainty to move forward. You need clarity for the next step and the next step only. Walls teaches us to stop demanding guarantees from life. Because if you know, there is no guarantees in life. That's a fact of the matter. Instead of asking, will this work out? You begin asking, what feels honest to me right now? What's the next right move? What supports my peace, not just my ambition and desires? Carrying on doesn't mean charging ahead blindly. It means walking slowly with integrity, one grounded step at a time. Now we're progressing. We're identifying there's obstacles. We're letting it set in. We're coming to terms with it. And now we're ready to go to the next level of rebuilding confidence after you hit the wall. So let's be honest and clear. Walls has the ability to shake confidence. Not because you are incapable, but because effort didn't produce immediate rewards. Excuse me. Once again, not because you are incapable, but because effort didn't produce immediate rewards. So how do you rebuild your confidence? Not by pretending that you are fearless or that those circumstances, those obstacles, and that loss didn't hurt. Because we got to come to terms. Yes, it hurt. I was disappointed. I was set back. But by a mental shift by keeping a promise to yourself again, by showing up constantly and consistently in small ways each and every day, measuring progress internally, not externally, and trusting your instinct even when they are quiet or reserved. Confidence after a wall is much quieter. It operates differently. It's less performative. It's less bodacious. It's less noisy. But nevertheless, it's rooted. The confidence is there. And this confidence says, or should, I've survived disappointment. I've adjusted, and I'm still standing. That kind of confidence doesn't crack or break easily. It all comes from believing in yourself. When the wall, we talking about walls today, baby. We talking about walls. When the walls become a teacher. At some point, often much later in your life, you'll realize that the wall had a voice of its own. The wall had a voice, and the wall was there to teach a lesson. It taught us boundaries, patience, self-respect, timing, and to trust the process. The wall didn't just show up to humiliate you or me. It showed up to initiate you into deeper awareness, stronger emotional regulation, healthier expectations, more sustainable success. You don't just go back to who you were before the wall. If you ever got to a point where you hit a wall, you will forever will be changed. You go forward as someone wiser, less rushed, more intentional, and a new version of you move differently. If you are listening to this and thinking, I don't feel like myself anymore, or I've hit that wall, and after that wall, I didn't feel like myself. Good. That was the purpose of hitting that wall. Because the old version of you wasn't meant to handle what is coming next. Now we're evolving, now we're growing. Carry on by remembering this. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are simply becoming. The wall didn't end your journey. It recalibrated your journey. And when the path opens again, and it will, I'm wholeheartedly confident that I'm going to accomplish every goal that I set in life. And I have the same confidence that you can too. We're on a journey of possibilities, and anything's possible, but you first got to believe. You will walk within it with more grace, more wisdom, and more self-trust than ever before. So continue on and carry on, not because it's easy or simple, because it's not going to be, but because you are still called to complete your life destiny. That's why you're here. So let's complete this arc. This is the turning point of the session, where clarity replaces confusion and power replaces pressure. I'm telling you, I'm talking about something here, and I said it from the very beginning. If you never hit the brick wall, you may not know what I'm talking about. If you never hit that obstacle when you were going at something, you may not know what I'm talking about. If you never hit that pitfall, you might not understand. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about. This message is for you. Why? Because we're at a point now, part 3. We're breaking through versus letting go. And it's very important to be able to distinguish the difference between the two. Letting go don't mean giving up. Letting go don't mean that you fail. Knowing which path is your path forward. So it starts with the most honest questions. There's a moment, quiet, deeply personal, that comes after endurance, after adjustment, after survival. The moment that asks yourself, forces you to ask yourself a question. This question that you're going to be forced to ask yourself is a question that only you can answer for yourself. Am I supposed to break through this? Am I supposed to let this go? This question doesn't come from impatience. It comes from wisdom. This is a mature question that one asks themselves at the right moment. Because by now, you have learned a thing or two. And life is going to have a way of teaching us all a thing or two. That's just the reality of life. And it's a good thing. When we're going through it and when we're experiencing it, it's not so good. It don't always feel good. But in hindsight, we're going to realize it's a good thing. There was I believe wholeheartedly, there's a reason for everything that happens. Okay? So not every wall is meant to fall. Not every retreat is failure. In part 1, we faced the wall. In part 2, we were changed because of it. Now here, in part 3, at this point, we need to decide how to move forward without betraying ourselves and who we really are inside. Let's bring this home, people. Let's bring this home. Thank you for staying with me. This is the Hour of Power and Purpose and Praise with D.E. Wilder. Thank you. The myth of pushing through everything. And yes, it's a myth. Everyone say, oh, you could make it. You could push through. You could do. You know, that's the positivity. But here's the fact. We live in a culture that worship force. Sound familiar? We're seeing it happen around us all right now. They say, push harder. Try again. Never quit. Outwork resistance. And while persistence may be powerful, unquestioned persistence can come or become a form of self-abandonment. Think about that. Why? Because some walls and that effort to break that wall can drain you. Some walls are there to warn you. Some walls reveal misalignments, not weakness. You have to pay attention because breaking through is not always a brave act. Sometimes it's fear saying, if I stop, I don't know who I'll be. I've been trying too long, too hard. Letting go is not always quitting. Sometimes it's courage saying to you, this no longer honors who you are becoming. The goal is not to prove endurance. The goal is to live in your own alignment. Again, there's a reason for everything. Pay attention to the signs. The signs that you are meant to break through. If this is the sign and there's a path, and the path saying you need to break through this wall, well, let's talk about discernment. Not ego, not pressure. If you are meant to break through, the obstacle strengthens you instead of hollowing you out. The resistance sharpens your skills, and it does not damage your spirit. The work feels meaningful even when it's hard and difficult and there's resistance. Growth is painful at times, but it's not so crushing. It doesn't destroy you. You feel stretched, and we can all feel that way at some point. But whether you feel stretched and pulled to your limits, you're not erased nor depleted. Breaking through often feels like temporary discomfort with long-term integrity. Fear paired with excitement. Challenges without self-betrayal. This is the kind of wall that says something to you. Grow stronger. Grow wiser. Be more prepared. These walls require patience, refinement, and faith. They don't break you. This wall was designed to build you. Signs that you were meant to let go. Because sometimes things are no longer your battle to fight. So let's talk about the walls that we resist naming. The walls that you were meant to let go. You are constantly depleted and no longer developing. You no longer recognize yourself in your pursuit of whatever it is. The effort costs you your peace, health, or self-respect. You are shrinking to survive instead of expanding to grow. You are staying in place out of fear, and it's no longer your calling. Letting go often feels like grief before belief. It feels like mourning the version of life that you imagine. Releasing an identity that you have outgrown. Choosing peace over pride. Pride to say, I no longer need that. That no longer is what I'm working on. That's no longer my focus. I no longer even need to be going after that. I choose me. I choose peace. So please hear this message clearly. Because once again, this message is for those who know, those who've been there, those who are there. Letting go is not failure or giving up, nor giving in. It's graduation. As I said, this is about evolution. You don't quit what no longer fits. If it's no longer for you, then you're not quitting. You're just letting it go. You simply outgrow it and allow yourself to continue to grow. You have to have courage to choose you without apologies. Here is the hardest part. Because once you know, once clarity arrives, it's still up to you to choose. Life is not going to let you get through it, free and clear and just coast through. You have to make the choices. You have to choose the right choices. You have to choose yourself. And the choice, making the choice, will require courage. Because people may not understand several things from the outside looking in. They may not understand why you stayed so long. Why you're leaving now. Why you didn't push harder. Why you stopped pushing at all. But this is your life. This is your path. This is your journey. You are allowed to change direction without explanation. You're allowed to honor your own energy, to choose sustainability over struggles, to choose peace without asking permission. Carrying on doesn't mean carrying everything and everyone. Sometimes it means settling and letting some things go and setting them down. What does life look like after you've made the choices and the decision? Sometimes powerful things happen. Something really powerful happens once you decide and the noise has quieted and the pressure has now lifted and the inner voices that you're hearing that's speaking to you is getting clearer. Whether you break through or let go, you must reclaim authority over your own life. Now you stop asking, what should I do? And you start asking, what is true to me? That's growth. That's evolution. That's maturity. That's alignment. That's freedom. Walls loses their power the moment you stop fighting them blindly or unknowingly and start listening intentionally. I hope this message hits someone. Walking forward now in peace and in your wholeness. If you are standing at that crossroad right now, you are right where you're supposed to be. Whether breaking through or letting go, take that moment in and pause for a moment and breathe. And know this. Let me leave you with this. You're not late. You're not lost. You're not weak for questioning. In fact, you are wise for taking the time and listening. Continuing and carrying on by trusting what's in your own heart. Because what is meant for you will not require for your own self-destruction or act against your own best interests. If it's for you, it will not require that. What is aligned won't demand that you abandon your peace or peace of mind. What is the next life? What is next in your life will meet you and be there waiting for you. And at the very moment when you choose your path and you choose yourself, some walls fall, some walls fade, some walls quietly step aside once you stop needing their permission to move forward in your own greatness. So carry on in freedom, not hardened, not bitter, not defeated, but whole in your fullness and wholeness and in your worthiness, living a life that you were born to live. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking this moment for yourself. If this message resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it and remind them that their peace and their grace and their purpose awaits. My sincerest intention is that my positive energy and unwavering dedication, the one that I aim to project through both my actions and my contribution, resonate deeply with each and every soul who hears my voice. My hope is that there is a shared spirit which serve as an uplifting catalyst for our individual growth in order to inspire collaborative breakthroughs, which ultimately foster collective success that has a positive impact. The very type of positive impact that we are all seeking in our life journey. Therefore, stay rooted, stay blessed, stay living your life with purpose. I am D. Wilder, and this is the Hour of Power, focused on purpose and praise. And I bid you peace and blessings. Told you it's going to be a lecture. But I hope it touched somebody, and I hope it was meaningful to somebody. Have a beautiful week ahead.
That was deep.
I had to go over that several weeks because each time I try to go through it, tears started running down my eyes.
I was say it. When you was talking, I thought for a second you was about to cry.
Because I know that wall. I know those walls.
You it felt like a testimony. Like you were talking and whew, that message was amazing. Powerful.
Thank God I got through that.